Hi, Simon Ladelfa, SLD Projects. We're here at our recently completed Lilyfield job. It's a small suburb located in the inner west, not too far from the city CBD. Fantastic lifestyle suburb, good for young families and growing children. So we were introduced to the clients here through an architect that we regularly deal with. So the scope of the works consisted of an alteration and addition of the existing dwelling. So a lot of these old, small, terrace-style homes, they're fairly older homes, so they're very rabbit hole in that, it's extension on top of extension on top of an addition. The scope was to remove all the old odds and ends and all the additions and create a new open plan living, where the client can sort of live in a light-filled area and interact with her young children at the same time. The job being on a main road, tight access, building boundary to boundary, always comes with these challenges, and they're sort of the jobs that I lean towards. Like a challenging job is an interesting job. Ultimately and foremost, the initial meeting with the client, as soon as I get a good vibe of the client for who they are and what they want, and we sort of see in line the finishes and the outcome of the job. And just being on the same page as the client is really important. The main challenges of the job were access, obviously building boundary to boundary. Everything's got to come in ultimately through the front door because cranes weren't really an option on the main road. Protection of the existing home, why we were doing on the addition at the back. We had to lay the floor protection through the main hallway. So everything needed to come through that little one doorway area. The demo came out through that door, the concrete and the soil removal happened through that front door. We had a 12-metre beam that had to come in through that front door, and just ultimately, the materials handling sort of presented its own challenges. So being a narrow block and a smaller footprint, I think the architect's done a really good job in that maximising the amount of light that's coming into the home, especially capturing that northern aspect. So he's done that through high-level glazing and highlights and large doors. Ultimately, there's a lot of areas there where we can open up the doors, go onto a courtyard and incorporating them indoor and outdoor areas. And also, capturing that light and trying to make it as light-filled as possible. The introduction of skylights and the high-level rooms and the vaulted ceiling, which is a feature on its own. And the client, having great taste, has opted for the lining boards and the ceiling, which again gives it its own feature. Key entertainment features for us is outdoor, indoor living areas. Make sure they're combined. Depending on how many people you've got over at the same time, you want to have that interaction with each other, regardless of whether they're inside or outside. And again, the clients sort of opted for polished concrete, which I love. The mix that we've got here, incorporated with the pigments and the off-white cement. Not many people opt for this type of concrete because it is really hard to get. And I'm glad that she has chosen it because the final finish looks fantastic. Now, a couple other items that the client sort of picked on, the 3D panelling in the kitchen, incorporating curves in the job as well. So the stone's got a curve. The back of the island benches has got the curve, and she's brought that through into the vanities in the bathrooms as well. She's really thought about how she's going to live in the place. We've introduced a pergola that allows you to sort of tilt the panelling in the pergola so you can sort of choose how much light you are letting into the place at any one time at different angles. We're always happy to work in with the clients to get the best possible outcome for them. And the pergola was one of them that on the original compliant development drawings, it was drawn at an angle. As we sort of came in to, obviously measure and design the pergola based to fit in the area that we have, sort of came up, it doesn't really work with the waterproofing issue, and it won't be able to hold the gutter. So then working with the client and the people at SkyMax who made and installed the pergola, let's put it flat and incorporate that area between the doors and the high-level windows. So, ultimately achieving the best outcome for the client so she can use it the way that she originally intended is paramount on any job. The job's come up fantastic. I'm really, really happy with it. I just hope that she just enjoys living in the home just as much as I've enjoyed building it for her.